Welcome to the Fresh Thinking School of Psychology masterclass on thinking like a motivator. What does it mean to think like a motivator? How do you feel when you meet people with positive worldviews about the world? What if I were to tell you that you have the potential ability to achieve your most important goals in the next 12 months? How will you feel? Most people will feel great. Each one of us has a gene of motivation from within. By the end of the Think Like a Motivator masterclass, you'll be equipped with the following to define what it means to think like a motivator. There's 7 steps to thinking like a motivator. How to nurture your mind, body, and spirit to be at peak performance to maximize prospects of achieving your most important goals in your life. How to set goals and achieve massive results in a year or less. Let's get started, shall we? What does it mean to think like an innovator? Motivated reasoning is a cognitive bias describing our tendency to accept what we want to believe more readily and with less scrutiny than we don't want to believe. The meaning of motivator: motivates or impels someone or something. Motivation is a fuel for life. Without motivation, you can't get out of bed. With just enough motivation, you eventually get out of bed. But not before 20 muddled minutes of half-dreamt schemes for skipping out today. With a little extra, suddenly it is not so bad. Step number 1, train your brain from I want to I have to. Help yourself by doing inspirational and motivational activities which inspire you to succeed. Choose one of your current goals that you need more motivation for. Write down all the good outcomes you will have after your dream comes true. Write down all adverse outcomes that you will have if you never reach this goal. Read through your list for about 15 minutes a day for a month or so and visualize your goal to be achieved. Step number 2, let's generate some energy. The essence of motivation is energized and persistent goal-directed behavior. When we are motivated, we move and take action. Motivation is influenced by the satisfaction of needs that are either necessary for sustaining life or essential for well-being and growth. For centuries, humans have worked hard, chasing mammoths, escaped saber-toothed tigers, and walked long distances to find food and shelter. This is how our body is formed. More pressure our body experiences, stronger it becomes, and the more energy we have. Nature is brilliant. Step number 3, balanced diet. A balanced diet supplies the nutrients your body needs to work effectively. Without balanced nutrition, your body is more prone to disease, infection, fatigue, and low performance. Yep, we suggest activating your motivation through your diet. Where is the connection, you might ask? Our diet makes a big difference. If we eat a well-balanced diet, it pays off as we get better health. Our digestion is better. We accumulate less fat. Organs work better. We are moving faster through our daily tasks as our body is happy and keep us in a better mood. This also means that we are not distracted by other issues. An obvious outcome of an unhealthy lifestyle is pain kills any kind of motivation. So the healthier, the earlier you do, the easier you get yourself motivated. Step number 4, encourage yourself. Sometimes you have to encourage yourself. Sometimes you have to speak victory during the test. And no matter how you feel, there are 5 activities that I do myself that keep me motivated every day. I look at my vision board every day. I look at my goals diary. I engage with my partners through meetups, through various platforms. I engage with YouTube videos of life and business coaches. I go through guided meditations, including yoga. Step number 5, get organized. By keeping organized, you will save time looking for things and will have more time to work on important goals, especially those which are important, as organization can improve the flow of communication between you and your team. You can also make your team more productive. After all, better communication leads to better results. Each task seems more straightforward and each goal is more reachable if you plan what you do, because it relieves the stress of our daily life and frees up the space for motivation. Routines and rituals are also beneficial. Step number 6, psychological activities. Meaningful life is one that is marked by purpose and meaning. That is, happiness in this respect comes from taking those virtues and strengths that make you a person of good character and using them in service of something bigger than yourself, something that gives purpose and meaning to your life. Psychological exercises are trendy, and could they help with a lot with motivation? Well, the answer is definitely yes. There's no need to go to a specialist because there is a set of positive psychology activities that are available and they can assist you as well. Step number 7, take a break and rest. Rest is vital for better mental health, increased concentration and memory, a healthier immune system, reduced stress, improved mood, and even a better metabolism. Our motivation capabilities are not endless. We have to rest and recover, or we will burn ourselves out. It is much harder to gain some motivation towards anything if we don't have inner resources. How to achieve your most cherished goals in the next 24 months or less. You can think like a motivator. Repeat. You can think like a motivator. Repeat. You can think like a motivator. Pick up your goals. Then figure out which motivation hacks to use on the subtasks that lead to those goals. And then use far more of them than you need so that you not only succeed, but you do so with excitement, with joy, with extra stamina and hunger for the next goal. You can use motivation hacking to improve anything that takes time and effort. For example, if you get good at it, you might gleefully be penning your opus in the morning. When you think like a motivator, you are more likely to succeed than those who do not. Working on goals that are important to you brings high motivation. When you have high expectancy, you have the motivation gene. No matter the task, you know in your core that you can learn to do it well. So you look forward to any challenge. High expectancy. No matter the task, you know in your core that you can learn to do it well. So you look forward to any challenge. Well, low impulsiveness. We human beings are built to hyperbolically discount rewards based on how far in the future they are. We all do it slightly differently as measured by experimental psychologists and economists. So there is no point in fighting it by reasoning that the value should be almost the same now as it will be later. That is not how our brains work. Those brains will make decisions for us based on hyperbolically discounted values, not rationally recited values. Peter now, work later. Train for the Olympics, never. Well, the motivation hacker learns to structure goals so that the perceived delay is not so great. The tools include intermediate milestones, process-based goals, and willfully optimistic planning. With the right mindset, success is ever right around the corner. Willpower. There are several compelling models of willpower. The oldest model says willpower is an innate character trait. You are either a strong-willed, disciplined person bound for success, or you are not. If this model is correct, then you will probably know whether you have a lot of willpower or not. If you have a lot, you can rely on it to carry you through the complex parts of your goals. And if you don't, you'll better pick out a smooth path to your goal from the onset, or you will fall off. A more popular model of willpower is that it is like a muscle. So the more willpower you exert, the less you will have that day to resist further temptations. But the more you will have in the future as your will strengthens. The psychologist George Ainsley once said, and I quote, "The will is a recursive process that bets the expected value of your future self-control against each of your successive temptations," close quote. In human evolution, the influence of future expectations on current preference has been at least as significant as an advance as speech, tool use, or theory of mind. It is ultimately a resource for all of those, including us. Until the emergence of foresight, remote contingencies shape behavior only by the natural selection of inborn instincts. For instance, those that attach present reward to the necessary components of migrating, nestling, and reproducing. The role of foresight was limited by organisms' capacity to detect contingencies, associations of events spanning more than seconds to minutes. Bigger brains meant more foresight, but even the great apes still show signs of looking ahead for no more than a few hours, for instance, in anticipating using a tool. Well, the will is simply the process of making personal rules to help us reach our goals. How much willpower we can master is precisely how good we are at setting up these personal rules, so that we always prefer to keep our rules than break them. This is a learnable skill. Goals afford achieving. Motivation increases with expectancy. Confidence that you will win. When you know you're going to succeed, motivation abounds. When you think you might not be able to accomplish a goal, then motivation suffers. It is easy to start sliding down into this hole. You fall fast, and once you are at the bottom, it seems as if there is no light by which to start plowing back up to the surface. At least your brain can condone of these confidence pits, so that you can be confident in sports or writing or telling jokes, even as you ignore the muttering from those helpless pieces of yourself which took their first steps down instead of up and have never returned. How to do it? To start building your success spirals, first make a small achievable goal that you can't forget to do. Setting a reminder for yourself can be helpful. Then track your success doing this goal. Eventually, the tracking system you develop can be the reminder for goals in any arbitrary success spirals you are working on. You don't have to shoot for 100% daily adherence, but you should have a definite cutoff, like 95%. Your goal also needs a completion date. You can't succeed at doing something forever, even if it is easy. Eventually, life changes. Of course, you can always re-up your success spiral on that goal if you are still interested on or make it harder or easier. Often, your interests will move on, and you don't want to be stuck doing something of low value just to strengthen your expectancy. The swords of last chance. Tending success spirals is a powerful technique, but you don't get many chances, especially after consciously realizing what you are doing. Each time you fall off the staircase, the harder it will be to get back on, since there will be a stronger voice of doubt in the back of you telling you you couldn't do it last time or the time before that. So why will this time be any different? It is like breaking a bone. That bone will be weaker for years each time you break it. So you'll have to move more carefully afterwards. Most of us start with many broken success spirals, the side of which is enough to make us lose confidence in our current attempts. Solution: pre-commitment. Pre-commitment, also known as using a commitment device, is a versatile set of tools for increasing motivation in almost any situation. To pre-commit is to choose now to limit your options later, preventing yourself from making the wrong choice in the face of temptation. Publicly announcing your goal is a common form of pre-commitment. Pre-commitment reduces impulsiveness at the moment you want to bring near the consequences of not pursuing a long-term reward in the form of broken commitment. If you stray off track. The more complex the goal, the more care you will take when choosing your pre-commitment. Pre-commitment is simple when there is a single moment of success or failure. You turn it into a do or die moment, and then you don't die. Bent ships. What does that mean? One specific technique for pre-commitment is where you disable, remove, or destroy a distraction or temptation. Social skill. When you are desperate, it is time to fight with every weapon you can. You'll wield the sword of last chance. You will plan to achieve your goal, which requires time and effort. And you will carefully hack your motivation to put in said effort. If you have an oof filled surrounding your goal, it will be hard to admit that you need to do this. Mentors and coaches are a call away. You do not need to know about motivation hacking when you start your plan. Learning skills, social skills in particular, doesn't have to take years, even from scratch. You do not need to know about motivation hacking. There are mentors, coaches, and technology to help you achieve the goals you set for yourself. With many skills and drills, getting feedback on your technique is good because you don't want to practice the wrong things in the wrong ways. Spending time without a plan is expensive. Still, at least you have feedback mechanisms like boredom, stress, and depression to tell you when you are living your life wrong. When you hack motivation, you sever those nerves. You will need to instead rely on high-level planning and introspection to figure out what you should be doing. Goal picking exercises. Imagine your perfect day. What do you do? Whom do you talk to? Where do you go? Then pick a few goals that will bring your days closer to this ideal. Make a list of every crazy goal you can think of. Then rate each goal on 3 factors. How much the goal excites you, from 1 to 10. Your probability of success if you tried as hard as you could, and how long it will take in hours. Then sort the goals by excitement times and probability of success divided by the time required, and pick some of the most efficient goals. Imagine that you are another person, more competent than yourself, who was just dropped into your current life without any of your current obligations, but with all of your current predicaments. Unhappiness. Humans don't know what makes us happy. We think we know, but we are usually wrong. Psychologist Daniel Kahneman distinguishes between the experiencing self and the remembering self. We have 2 modes of thinking about well-being. The experiencing self, which can semi-accurately tell you how happy you are in the moment if you ask yourself. And the remembering self, which can make up reasonable sounding lies about how happy you were in the past, or about how happy something will make you in the future. Remember, life is made up of a series of moments. The happiness and unhappiness within life are integral, the area under the curve, to the happiness of those moments. Only a tiny fraction of life is experienced in a reflective mode. In other words, the well-being described by the remembering self is an illusion. You could call the well-being given by experiencing self happiness, and that given by the remembering self life satisfaction. Learning anything that learns. Well, there is a view that anyone can learn anything, but that is wishful thinking. Anyone could bring themselves to put in the time and effort, but if they don't know how to make themselves do that, they can't learn their skill. But the motivation hacker knows how not only to do the learning, but to have fun doing the learning. Yes, fun. Learning should make you smile, not clench your teeth. The fool's defense. Another good strategy for defeating valuelessness tasks is not to do them. Sometimes this is easy, but not always. The first strategy is trading disgusting tasks to people in exchange for tasks where you have a comparative advantage. The second strategy is to bench these tasks and do them less often, like sending mail, buying and preparing food, or having meetings. The third strategy is to pay other people to do them, friends, personal assistants, virtual assistants, etc. Of course, you can often trade money for them. And the trade makes more sense when the time is grudgingly spent. The fourth strategy is the fool's defense. You signal your inability to perform a task in the hopes that someone else will take care of it for you. If you want to improve, you can do it in two ways. The first way is what everyone does. You must try something and then decide whether it is worthwhile based on remembering self hunches and why it would be worthwhile to learn something new in the world. So we tend to pick a destination, arrive somewhere else, and then be thankful we ended up precisely where we did, unaware of all the other places we could have gone, and more importantly, the other parts we could have traveled. This automatic contentment instinct is handy since it most often keeps us at a baseline level of well-being. But if we want to surpass the baseline well-being to which all our instincts strive to return us, we must seek the truth of what fulfills us more than average. So, if you are extraordinarily talented at introspection, you might be able to just do or to meditate to understand this, but the rest of us must use science. Enter the self-experiment. Whatever goals you pick, you should have some way of measuring the results. Many goals are intended to make you happier. So measure your happiness and see what is effective. For example, if you are trying to get stronger, measure how much stronger you are getting with each protocol to determine what is working. trying to lose weight? Well, decide how long you will try eating according to a nutritional philosophy. What the cutoff will be for much weight and body fat you will need to lose for it to be successful. Do it for that long, then quit if it's not working, or continue if it is. Be a scientist about it. A little rigor goes far. When hacking motivation, failure is expensive in terms of time, coins, since you have to rebuild a lot of damaged expectancy. But if you haven't had practice hacking motivation, then how do you avoid failure while attempting things you have never done before? Avoid these common mistakes as if your dreams depend on them. The most common mistake is to fall prey to the planning fallacy when setting up your success spirals. When humans estimate how long a task will take, their average case and best case predictions are almost identical. Unfortunately, their worst case prediction is still more optimistic than what happens. Plan for the worst and hope for the best. Well, start your success spirals small enough so that you are guaranteed to win, even if everything goes wrong. Avoid running after the wrong goals. The motivated hacker learns to learn fast, and if they go the wrong way, they will end up far from the life they wanted. And suppose they make themselves excel at something they don't like. In that case, they will override the natural pain indicators and push until they hack themselves. So always accomplish what you set out to do, but stop after any milestone where you realize that you weren't enjoying the journey. Don't make the mistake of picking goals that do not excite you. Practice some easy stuff, sure, but then use these motivational hacking techniques to amaze yourself. Do something crazy. It's much easier to do something challenging and exciting than to do something easy that you probably should. List of motivation techniques. The primary motivation hacking techniques are success spirals, pre-commitment, bent shapes, and a task samurai. Expectancy is your confidence in success. These techniques increase motivation by making you confident that you will succeed. Set yourself a series of achievable goals and then achieve them until you expect only success and failure is no longer familiar. Surround yourself with motivated people and avoid unmotivated people to have their motivation rub off on you if you can't change your friends. Reading biographies of inspirational people is a more straightforward example. Visualize the success you want to achieve, then contrast it with your current non or not success. Guarding against excessive optimism, we all fall prey to the planning fallacy. This often destroys success spirals. When planning paths towards goal, you can expect the best but plan for the worst, so that you can still avoid failure even when everything goes wrong. Value is both how rewarding a task will be when you finish it and how fun it is while you are doing it. These are general ways to adjust what you are doing so that It is more meaningful and fun. Find flow. Tasks which are too easy or too hard are not engaging. So find ways to make tasks challenging but possible. Find meaning. Find ways to connect tasks with significant life goals to remind yourself why you are doing what you are doing. Set approach goals. SMART goals are out. And challenging, specific, immediate, and approach, not avoidable, not avoidance goals, are in. These goals should excite you. The specific and immediate impulsiveness ensures you know what you need to do at any time. I find that input goals, study 30 minutes daily, tend to work better than output goals, less than 20 words daily. Optimize your energy. Everything is more fun if you are alert, not tired. Sleep, eat well, get feed, guard your circadian rhythms, and avoid burnt out. Cure energy lows with quality breaks, movement, sunshine, and good music. Match intensive tasks with periods of high energy. Practice productive procrastination. If you can't bring yourself to do your primary task, at least get some other things out of the way. It is not perfect, but perfect is the enemy of good. Create rewards. When you succeed, celebrate it, either by congratulating yourself or giving yourself a treat. Treats can backfire if overused, though. I prefer victory dances, fist bumps, and grinning a lot like an idiot. Focus on passion. Know what you are passionate about and steer your life towards those passions. Ask if your everyday tasks are connected to passion. Ask if they are intrinsically motivating. Trade tasks according to comparative motivational advantage so that each person is doing the task which motivate them more. Impulsiveness. Impulsiveness is your susceptibility to delay a given task. How likely you are to put it off and do something more pressing. Limiting impulsiveness often means getting rid of the options to do other things. Pre-commitment. Choose now to limit your later options, preventing yourself from making the wrong choice in the face of temptation. Ban the ships. We are long past the days of quisitars doors, but the story of the banning of the ships is as relevant as ever. If you leave the ships in the harbor, your people will see that you are not fully committing to the transition needed. If you are not fully committed, why should they be? By banning the ships, by removing any valuable path back to the previous way, your team will become as fully committed as you obviously are. A specific form of pre-commitment where you disable, remove, or destroy a distraction or temptation. The third is motivating technique. Is good reminders. Make external reminders of your goals visible and look at them. Avoid failing at your goals just because you forgot about them. Time boxing. Place limits on the time allowed to perform a given task. The shorter, the better. It is easier to ignore distractions when you know you can't finish your task if you give it in to them and only have to focus on your task for a short time. Build useful habits. Make an autopilot schedule for yourself and put your goals into it, or add goals to existing routines. Schedule play before work. Plan times to have as much fun as possible, leading to more efficient recreation. It also lets you focus on your goals during the other times rather than just having low-grade leisure constantly tempting you as an option. Play hard. Delay. Delay is how far off the reward seems to be. This is often hard to manipulate directly, but sometimes you can set yourself up to perceive delay differently, thus scoring a big motivation win. Break goals down. Granularize big goals until the next achievement is correct in front of you. Sub-goals and sub-goals defeat delay. Use the goal system, which will do this automatically. You must get a target for each day. Plan fallaciously. This isn't so much a technique as a phenomenon, and its effect on motivation aren't backed up by any research, just my own experience with my startup and also my marathon training. However, the planning fallacy automatically gives you more courage to start by underestimating the time and effort required to achieve many unknown challenging goals. This is good as long as your goals are input based and not output based. To think like a motivator means to summon extreme amounts of motivation to accomplish something meaningful and of value to you and society. Without motivation, you cannot get out of bed. With just enough motivation, you eventually get out of bed, but not before 20 muddled minutes of hard dreamt schemes for skipping out today. With a little extra, suddenly it is not so hard. I'm glad we journeyed together during this masterclass. As part of your continuing education program, reflect on the following questions. What does it mean to think like a motivator? List and discuss the 7 steps to thinking like a motivator. What are the 3 specific lessons you learned from this masterclass? What are the 3 specific actions you plan to take in the next 24 hours? Signing off, Dr. Masasekani Mishak Kosa, Director of the Fresh Thinking School of Psychology, the Thinking Futurist. Thank you.